Hello. It's time for our January Basho predictions, but things seem to be a little up in the air. Stop throw!
Roll the salt, get in the ring. Welcome to the Dohyo.
Hello and welcome back to the Dohyo here on MrJWags channel. We are back with an exciting year covering Grand Sumo. If you have not checked into the channel for a while, we have posted a whole bunch of episodes since the last November Basho, a whole lot of end of year stuff, and we have just posted our predictions for the full year of 2023. This is not that episode. This is the episode that is just the predictions for the January Basho. But first, some fun new news. We have some new playlists I have curated on the channel page, so if you go there and check out the playlist, we now have a Dohyo Greatest Hits playlist, and we also have separate playlists for every time I have guested on other shows. So there's a Grand Sumo Breakdown playlist and a playlist of all the times I guest hosted for Jason's All Sumo channel. So for those of you who've been wanting all of these episodes in one place, here they are. Now, I am recording this before we get the official Kyujo list for the January Basho, but we already know that Ichi Nojo is going to be suspended for this tournament, and I'm pretty sure we are not going to have any Yokozuna Terunofuji for this tournament, so we are already starting 2 wrestlers down in the Makuuchi division. Now, as I mentioned in the previous episode for the 2023 predictions, I think we are at the point where we have a sort of a baked cake for the upcoming year. I think the top 15 Rikishi for the upcoming year are going to be relatively stable for the next 5 or 6 Basho. So the real question for me this Basho is, where are the losses going to come from in the Joy and Sanyaku? As I've mentioned, we have a bunch of people of roughly the same talent level sort of crammed together in the Joy and lower Sanyaku, and they keep cannibalizing each other's wins, and no one seems to be able to break out to get the wins necessary to make Ozeki or even Yokozuna. Sumo is perfectly binary. Every match has a win and a loss, so where are the losses going to come from? Alright. The first bold prediction. Sekiwake or Ozeki-wake Shodai will not get his 10 wins to climb back up to Ozeki. Not necessarily a bold prediction, but I think it is finally a period on the end of Shodai's Ozeki career. We have talked about this at length in the last few episodes, if you have a hankering to hear about more Shodai. Bolder prediction, defending champion Abi will also get under 10 wins. Yes, I have not seen anything from Abi that tells me he is going to get double-digit wins in the Joy or Sanyaku yet. But again, I'd love to be wrong about this. Now, once again, we have a 10-person Sanyaku with a Mega Komasubi 4-person remix at the bottom of it, and I believe that of our 4 Komasubi, 2 are going to go Kachikoshi and 2 will go Make-koshi. The bolder prediction, the ones who will get Kachikoshi are our 2 Ks, Kota Nowaka and Kiribayama. I think Kiribayama is going to have an amazing tournament, still waiting for him to make his full Sanyaku breakout, could be this tournament. And I have been waiting for Kota Nowaka to make the Sanyaku for a while. He has finally done it. I think he is still going to keep up with his current level of success and get a light Kachikoshi, in continuing the run he's been having for the past year. I know it's his first time in the Sanyaku, but he's been facing these guys for the past year in the Joy, so it's same people. I think he'll be fine. And now it's time for our recurring segment, 3 Up, 3 Down, where I take a few Rikishi who I think are underranked, some who are overranked, and predict how they will do in the next tournament. Now, my 3 down, unfortunately, are all from Isegahama-beya. I know, Isegahama-beya, we all want them to do well. They've been dominating so much in the past few years. But Midori Fuji, remember what I was saying? Where are the losses going to come from? Well, I have a bad feeling about Midori Fuji. He's had sort of his 3rd consecutive Basho up in the High Maegashira Joy area, and I just think at this point, the top rankers have seen him enough. They're not going to be surprised by any of his tricks anymore, and they are all going to be on guard for the Kata Tsukashi. So I do not expect Midori Fuji to do very well this tournament, although I have been wrong about him many times before. Nishiki Fuji has been having an amazing Makauchi career to date. Been slowly working his way up. Slowly, he's been getting wonderful Magekoshis all the way up, but he's right there at the joy line. So, it's a question of whether or not the newness is going to help him, or whether or not he's not going to have the level of experience necessary to deal with the top rankers. I don't think he's going to be getting 9 or 10 wins this time. I would expect a mild Magekoshi out of Nishiki Fuji. And yeah, Takara Fuji, all the way down there at the bottom of the Banzake. He has looked really, really bad for the past 3 or 4 Basho. He's been under-promoted, in my opinion, so I just think he hasn't had the Makauchi chops recently. And unless he comes back and shows us something he hasn't shown us in at least 6 months, I think this is going to be the last time we see Takara Fuji in the top division for a while. If ever. Why am I whispering so much? And now, the 3 up. We'll start with Maegashira 5, Ryuden. He, of course, broke COVID protocol, was suspended, is working his way back up. His previous career high is Komusubi. I think we could see in this current drive up the Banzage, he could get up to Sanyaku again this year. In fact, I predicted it in the previous episode. That one rank that keeps him just below the joy, I think, is going to help him a lot in the first week, so I would expect him to get Kachikoshi. Next up, Maegashira 8, Onosho. Now, Onosho has not been the most consistent Rikishi, but I think Maegashira 8 is still a little low for him. I expect him to win down here and pop his way up to the joy, and then get smacked down again. And of course, Ura! Oh, now we all know I love Ura, and I think at Maegashira 7 he is a little underranked. So, if he is at all healthy, I think he will do very well and give us some very exciting sumo for January. Now it's time for the recurring segment, Which Way We Goin'? This is an exploration of a few Rikishi who I'm not sure quite where they are in their journey, the ups or the downs. So let's talk about them now. First, 2 young guys, Oho and Hirado Umi, 2 guys who are about 22, working their way up the Banzake for the first time. Now, Oho's been up for about a year, starting to make the very first steps up the Banzake, had a good tournament last year, did not finish very strong. Hirado Umi, of course, almost got demoted back down to Juryo, ended up getting saved by some helpful Banzake luck, and then had an excellent tournament last tournament. So the question is, were those like leaps? Were those actual improvements in the true talent level of their sumo, or were they just good tournaments? Maegashira 9, Takanosho. Now, we've been talking about him a while. In fact, he's been on this very segment quite recently. Is his knee going to recover? Is he ever going to get back to where he's sort of the Sanyaku regular he was not that long ago? It's just his true talent level over the past few competitions has not been anything what we would call, like, elite. Someone down at Maegashira 8 who has a Sanyaku true talent level should be getting 10 wins easily, and he hasn't. So is this the end of the Takanosho train? Let's see. I still hope. He's only 28. He might have one more bump left in him to get him back up to the top ranks. But I do not think there's any sort of Ozeki run in Takanosho's future. Speaking of Ozeki runs, Mitakeyumi down in the Maegashira ranks for the first time in years. Ooh. Now, I just have to believe that the sudden fall of Mitakeyumi has happened because of injury, and I have to believe that deep inside Mitakeyumi there is still that sumo heart that we love so much that got him all the way to Ozeki last year. It was just so heartbreaking. So, just part of my sumo soul needs to believe that he can recover a little bit and bounce back and maybe come up and claim the record for most tournaments at Lower Sanyaku. That'd be a fun goal. And our final Which Way We Goin'? New Komusubi Meisei. Now, of course, Meisei was up at Komusubi about a year ago, and then he got injured, fell all the way down the Banzake, took him about a year to get back up. All right, what is the true talent level here? He's 27, still in the meat of his peak, but there are a lot of miles. Let's see what can happen in the following year, and if he has a leap in his sumo. Now, we've been talking a lot about the Sanyaku, but I just don't think that we're going to see a lot of surprises in Lower Maegashira. I think a lot of the people in the Lower Maegashira ranks are sort of where they are right now, and we're not going to be seeing any sort of heavy error bars in the up or down direction. So my bold prediction is there will be no double-digit wins below Maegashira 10. Yes, from Maegashira 11 to 16, no double-digit wins. And the bolder prediction, every Makuuchi member from January who gets demoted to Judio will be over the age of 30. Yes, I think the youth quake is on its way, and all of the people who are going to lose rank after this tournament will be on the wrong side of 30. And speaking of Judio, my bold prediction is Asanoyama will win the Judio Yusho in his triumphant return to the second division. I've been a little hard on Asanoyama, but I absolutely think he could step into Judio and get 11 or 12 wins, which seems to be about what it takes to get a Judio Yusho these days. And my bolder prediction, after this tournament, Hokuseiho and Atami Fuji will both be Makuuchi bound. Hokuseiho for his debut, and Atami Fuji for his triumphant return. They are, of course, two youngish Rikishi who I am huge fans of, and I expect them both to do very well in Makuuchi very soon. All right, we're getting down to where the rubber meets the road, where the foot skin meets the dohyo. Not to be gross about it. But bold prediction, Taka Keisho is going to get Kyujo. If we look back at the past few years, in his January tournaments, Taka Keisho gets Kyujo. Now hold on, this is not an anti-Taka Keisho thing. I think there are a number of possible futures for Taka Keisho in this tournament. I think one of them is he could end up having a great tournament, winning the whole Basho, and getting Yokozuna promotion. However, the likelihood of that I think is probably around 5 to 10%. I think the likelihood of him having another solid Ozeki-type Basho, that's probably around 40%. The other 50% I think is he's most likely to go Kyujo at this point. He's not getting younger. He hasn't been Kyujo in a while. Love to be wrong about this, but his history tells me he's not ready to take the next step for Yokozuna. My bolder prediction, well, since I don't think we're going to have a Yokozuna or an Ozeki, all 8 lower Sanyaku members make it all 15 days. Yeah, this is going to be a scrum, and it's going to be decided in the lower Sanyaku. So that brings us to our Yusho pick. Well, I mentioned already we have 4 Komusubi. We have 4 Sekiwake as well. And as I said, I don't think Shodai is going to do very well. But my bold prediction is that the other 3 Sekiwake all get 9+ wins. And my bolder prediction, one of them gets the Jun Yusho, and one of them gets the Yusho. Yusho pick, Takayasu. All right, I know, I've been talking about Youthquake. Youth is going to happen. Youth is king. Youth is amazing. All right. I think Takayasu has had the best 2-tournament lead-up to this tournament, and I think, since January seems to be when we have the crazy first-time winning sort of things happening, I think this might be Takayasu, and I know I've said this about 20 times in the last 3 years, this might be Takayasu's last chance at a Yusho. Thank you for joining us here on the Dohyo. Remember to check out the new playlists. We, of course, are going to be doing our Sumo Quick Strikes mid-Basho, so do make sure you are liked and subscribed for that, because we do not post everything on the social medias. All right, stick with us. We are going to have an amazing January Basho, and we hope you return to us. Stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, and I will see you next time on the Dohyo.